The Stoic Paradox. Imagine you're holding two opposing truths in your hands like smooth stones warmed by sunlight. In one palm rests the weight of caring deeply about everything that matters to you, your relationships, your work, your dreams, your very sense of purpose. In the other lies the gentle wisdom of letting go completely, of accepting that none of these things are truly within your control. You feel the tension between these stones, the way they seem to pull against each other, and yet somehow they belong together. How can you care with your whole heart while simultaneously holding everything lightly? This is the beautiful contradiction at the heart of Stoic philosophy, a paradox that has puzzled and comforted minds for over 2,000 years. The Stoics taught that we should be deeply engaged with life while remaining fundamentally detached from outcomes. They urged passionate action coupled with serene acceptance. It seems impossible, doesn't it? Like trying to run and rest at the same time, or to love without attachment. Yet within this apparent contradiction lies one of the most profound insights into human flourishing ever discovered. On one hand, you're called to care intensely about your choices, your character, your daily actions. The Stoics believed in virtue as the highest good. Courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance weren't abstract concepts, but living practices that demanded everything you had to give. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations with casual interest. He poured his soul into understanding how to live well. On the other hand, you're invited to release your grip on everything external, success, reputation, even the responses of those you love most. These things, the Stoics knew, dance to rhythms beyond your influence. Consider how this plays out in something as simple as a conversation with someone important to you. You prepare thoughtfully, choosing your words with care, speaking from your deepest truth. Your investment is complete, not because you can control their response, but precisely because you cannot. You give everything to what lies within your power while accepting that their reaction, their understanding, their choice to listen or turn away belongs entirely to them. The paradox deepens when you realize that this very detachment enables deeper care. When you're not frantically trying to control outcomes, you can pour yourself more fully into the process. It's like tending a garden. You plant seeds with meticulous attention, water with consistency, remove weeds with patience, all while knowing that the weather, the soil chemistry, the mysterious timing of growth itself remains beyond your reach. Your love for the garden becomes purer when it's freed from desperate attempts to force blooms. You begin to notice this pattern everywhere in Stoic thought. They spoke of being like a skilled archer who focuses entirely on their stance, their aim, their release, while accepting that wind might carry the arrow elsewhere. The archer's excellence lies not in hitting the target every time, but in perfecting the elements within their control. This isn't resignation. It's the most empowering perspective imaginable, because it directs all your energy toward what actually responds to your efforts. There's something profoundly liberating about discovering where your true power lies. You stop exhausting yourself trying to change other people's minds, control their emotions, or guarantee specific outcomes. Instead, you funnel that energy into your responses, your choices, your character. You become like water that flows powerfully within its banks while accepting the shape of the riverbed. The force isn't diminished by acceptance, it's focused and made more effective. The Stoics understood that suffering comes not from external events themselves, but from the stories we tell ourselves about those events. Your job interview ends poorly. That's simply information. The story that this means you're inadequate, that your future is ruined, that you'll never find meaningful work. That narrative is your creation, and therefore within your power to examine and change. You care deeply about finding good work while holding lightly to any single opportunity. This paradox extends into the realm of love and relationships in ways that initially seem almost cruel, but ultimately prove deeply wise. You're called to love fully while accepting that those you love will change in ways you cannot predict, make choices you cannot influence, and ultimately follow paths that may lead them away from you. Yet this acceptance doesn't diminish love, it purifies it. When you stop trying to possess or control those you care about, your love becomes a gift freely given rather than a transaction with expected returns. The Stoics practiced something they called negative visualization. imagining the loss of what you currently have, not to cultivate pessimism, but to deepen gratitude and prepare your mind for life's inevitable changes. You might spend a quiet moment considering that today could be the last time you see a friend, hold your child, walk in your favorite place. This practice intensifies your appreciation of the present while building resilience for future difficulties. Time reveals another layer of the paradox. You're encouraged to live as if each day might be your last, bringing urgency and intensity to your choices, while simultaneously taking the long view that extends beyond your individual existence. You act with immediate purpose while contributing to enterprises that may not bear fruit for generations. You plant olive trees whose shade you'll never enjoy, write letters that may not be read for decades, show kindness that ripples forward in ways you'll never trace. The Stoic Paradox asks you to be simultaneously humble and confident. Humble about your ability to control external circumstances, confident in your capacity to respond with wisdom and virtue regardless of what those circumstances bring. You acknowledge your smallness within the vast cosmos, while recognizing the immense significance of your choices within that same cosmic order. Every decision to act with courage rather than cowardice, justice rather than selfishness, wisdom rather than ignorance, sends waves through the interconnected web of existence. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this paradox is how it transforms your relationship with failure and success. Both become teachers rather than judges. Success doesn't inflate your ego because you recognize how many factors beyond your control contributed to it. Failure doesn't devastate you because your self-worth rests on your efforts and character rather than outcomes. You play wholeheartedly in the game of life while remembering that you are not the scoreboard. As you settle into sleep tonight, let this paradox work its gentle magic in your mind. You don't need to resolve the tension between caring and letting go. You need only to rest in the spaciousness that the tension creates. Like a suspension bridge that gains its strength from opposing forces, your inner life becomes more stable and beautiful when it can hold multiple truths simultaneously. It's not about choosing between engagement and detachment, but about discovering the deeper wisdom that emerges when they dance together.